Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to build a responsive side menu using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So what we're going to build is what you can see on the screen here, just a simple navbar with this little button here. When you press it, it opens the side menu, it slides over the main content, and opens up more links here to choose from. When the X is clicked, then it goes away and the main content slides back to where it was originally. So we'll break this up into three parts. First we'll write the HTML, and then we'll write the JavaScript, and then finally the CSS. Let's go ahead and get started with building this. Open up a text editor. Inside here I already created two files, index.html and a style.css. We're going to start here with the index.html. So go ahead and start by creating an HTML template. In Sublime you can type HTML and hit tab to give you a little template. Within the title I'm going to put responsive sidebar, and then above that I'm going to add two meta tags. Put a meta tag char set equals UTF-8. Below that we'll make a meta tag and put a rel or a name, and put a name equals viewport, and we'll put content equals width equals device dash width, and we'll put initial scale equals 1.0. And up here in HTML I'm also going to go ahead and just add an lang equals en. And now I'm going to link in my CSS. So below these meta tags I'll make a link tag and link in href, or put rel equals style sheet href equals style.css. And now at the very bottom I'm going to add in a script tag, and this will be to get our icon later on. So right before the closing body tag, and here I'm going to put script src, and the URL we need is https, and it'll be unpkg.com/ion icons at 5.0.0 /dist/ion icons.js. We'll close out that script tag. And now that we have our basic template set up, we're going to go ahead and add the content to the HTML. So within our body tag, we'll go ahead and first make the navbar. So we'll create a nav tag, a class equals navbar. And these classes right now, we'll add styles to them later on. We're not using any front-end libraries, so we'll add all the CSS later. Within the nav, we'll put a span, a class equals open slide. And within that span, make an href equals just a £. This a tag, we're going to add in our ion icon tag, which should be for our icon. This is coming straight from the documentation for this icon library. I'll put a link to it in the description below so you can look into it more. But for now, we'll put an ion-icon, put a class equals menu-icon, and then a name equals menu-outline. And we're going to put our closing tag there, and then we're going to go ahead and close off the a tag and then close off the span. Now here we're going to put a unordered list, so ul, and put a class on that equals navbar-nav, and we'll add the styles to this later. Now within this ul, we'll go ahead and make a link that will go nowhere. These are all just placeholders, so we'll put £. For now. We'll put home, close out both those tags. I'm going to go ahead and copy this line here and copy it a couple times. And then we'll change this text to be about services and then contact. Now below this, we're going to go ahead and close out our tags like that. Now we have our main nav bar at the top of the screen. We need to go ahead and make our side menu as well. So we'll start by making a div tag, and we'll put an ID equals side menu, and we'll use this ID in the JavaScript in a little bit. The class will be side nav, and then we'll create some links. They're just placeholders for now, so they're not going to go anywhere. We'll put this first one will be a class equals btn-close, and then on inside of this tag we're going to put and times semicolon and close it out. And what this will create a little X that we'll use as a close button. And then below this tag we're making a href equals, and we'll make that go nowhere. It's also just a placeholder, and we'll put home, close that off. We're going to copy this 3 more times, put it below it right there, and then right here we'll change this to about, and this to services, this to contact. We'll keep them the same in our main nav and our side nav for simplicity. First, we need to close off this div tag, and now below here we need to make our main content container. So we'll make a div tag, put an ID on that equal to main, which we'll use in the JavaScript a little bit. And within here we'll just make an h1 tag. We'll put responsive side menu. We need something that will slide over when the nav menu is pressed. And then we'll close off this div tag. And that's all we need for our HTML. So let's go ahead and add the JavaScript now. So we'll go down here below this div, and we'll create a script tag. I'm just going to put everything within this one file. We could put 2 files, but this is a pretty simple and basic script. No real reason to, so we'll put it within this one file. And now in here we need to write 2 functions. So first we write a function and call it open side menu. And this will need to be invoked whenever we hit the button to toggle the side menu open. And then below there, we're creating another function, and we're going to put a closed side menu, which will need to be invoked whenever we hit the X button. Before we write these functions, I'm going to go ahead and scroll up here to this times, and on click, it's that equal to close side menu, and then come up here to this open slide, and on this href up here, add another on click and put open side menu. So now whenever we hit this A tag right here, click on it, it will invoke this open side menu function, and whenever we hit the X down here, it will invoke this close side menu function. So now let's go ahead and write the functionality within these 2 functions. So what we need to do when we want to open the side menu is we need to set the side menu width to 250 pixels and set the margin left of the main content to 250 pixels. What that will do is we'll move the main content over, so it gives it kind of the impression of it being pushed over from the side menu. And so to do that, we'll type in document.get element by ID, put side menu, and then we'll put .style.width, put this equal to 250 px, and then we need to do another one, document.get element by ID main for our main content area, .style.margin left equals 250 px. So in our CSS, we'll set the initial width of the side menu to 0, and so once we press the button, it will go to 250 pixels. So it should be hidden at first, and then once we press the button, it should appear and be 250 pixels wide. Now with our close side menu function, we need to pretty much just revert the changes we made before in our open side menu function. So we'll go and set the width of the side menu back to 0, and set the margin left of the main content area back to 0. So to do that, we'll type document dot get element by ID and put side menu dot style dot width equals 0. Document dot get element by ID main dot style dot margin left. Actually, forget, this should be in quotes, 0, and this also in quotes, 0. And that's all we need to do. So all we're doing there is we're just taking the side menu width, putting it back to 0 to hide it again, and then setting the margin left of the main content area back to 0 to move it back to its original location. And that's all the JavaScript we're going to need in this project. So I'm going to save this file, then open up the style.css, and we'll start writing the styles to finish this project up. So we'll go ahead and start with, on the body, we will put a font family of Arial, comma serif, and a background color of F4, 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 and we'll overflow X of hidden. Dot Navbar, background color, we'll do an 81C784, and then we want to do overflow hidden, and we want a height of 63 pixels. Put a navbar A. Within here, we're going to do a float left, display, block, color, do an F2, 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 and then a text line, center, a padding, 14 px, 16 px, a text decoration of none, a font size of 17 px, and a transition of 0.3 seconds. So what we did here, we added some styles to our entire navbar, to the color, overflow to hide the scroll bars, and a height, and then we would add some styles to our A tags within the navbar. Some positioning, some color, aligning the text, adding some padding, getting rid of the underline, making it a little bit bigger, and a transition for our hover effects, which we'll add in a little bit. And then below here, we want to add some styles to our unordered list within our navbar. So to do that, we'll put dot navbar space UL. Within here, we'll put a margin of 8px 0, 0, 0, a list style of none, and then below here we'll put some hover effects for our A tags. So we'll put .navbar space A colon hover, and then we'll add a background color of DDD. We'll add a border radius of 40 px, add a color of 0, 0, 0, a transition of 0.3 seconds, and then below here we're going to add a style for our menu icon. So we'll do a dot menu icon for that class we created, and then we'll just increase the font size a little bit. Do font size :2 rem. Now below this, we'll add some styles to our side nav. Side nav, and then within here we'll add a height of 100%, width of 0 to start, a margin top of 71 px, a position to be fixed, a z index to be 1, a top to be 0, a left to be 0, background color to be F4, 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 overflow X to be hidden to hide the horizontal scroll bars, and then a padding dash top to be 60 px, a transition to be 0.5 seconds, a box shadow to be 2px, 2px, 15px, gray, a side nav, A to add styles to the A tags within the side nav. Inside here we'll do a padding of we'll do 10px, 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 30px. We'll add a text decoration of none. We'll add a font size of 22px. We'll add a color to be 555, and we'll add a display block, and we'll add a transition of 0.3 seconds. Now below this, we're going to add some more styles, or add one style for the hover effect on the A tags within the side nav. So just like before, we'll go ahead and type in .side nav space A:hover, and we'll add a color of 333, just make it a little darker when you hover over them. Then we'll go ahead and add a side nav .btn close to add styles to this btn close class within our side nav, and we'll put a position of absolute. We'll put a top position of 0 and a right position of 22px. And so all we're doing here is putting it in the top right, 22 pixels over from the edge. And I'll do a font size of 36 pixels, make it a little bit bigger. Go ahead and add a margin left of 50 pixels. Now finally, we need to add in some styles for our main ID. So we'll do #main for that. Now within here, we need to add a transition. Put margin left 0.5 seconds, a padding of 20px, overflow hidden, and then a width of 100%. So all we're doing here is we're adding a transition to the margin left property of 0.5 seconds. So when that button's pressed and the margin changes, it will transition from 0 to 250 in 0.5 seconds. So this will determine how fast the content slides over, the main content slides over, and then up here right here within the side nav styles, we have a transition as well for 0.5 seconds, and that will change how fast or slow the side nav opens up. So those are what you want to change to make it open up quicker, open up slower. And that's all we really need to make this thing work. So we'll go ahead and save it. We'll open up our other file, reload it. We'll press the button, and it opens up. We'll close it, and it slides back. So we can go here and change some things. We can make this open up slower. We could put transition 8 seconds, or let's just do 1 second to make it more dramatic. And then we'll go up here and change this as well to 1 second. And then we'll go ahead back here, reload it, and that opens up much slower, and it closes down much slower. I personally like the 0.5 seconds, so I'm going to leave it at that for here. But you're welcome to do what you want with that. You're probably going to change both. If you change just one, it's going to be kind of strange with one opening up quicker or slower than the other. And that's it. Hopefully you've gotten a lot out of this, and it will help you with your own websites. I'll put links to the written version of the tutorial, as well as the links to the source code and the links needed for the icon all in the description below, so you can go there to find that. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.